You walk through life convinced of your own freedom. You believe that because you have no physical master, because no chains bind your wrists, you are a free man. But look closer. Look into the mirror of your daily actions. When you wake up, do you rise because you decided to, or because you must? When you scroll endlessly through a screen of blue light, are you the one choosing to see, or are you being fed? We live in an age of the illusion of choice. You think you are the captain of your soul, yet the moment someone insults you, you lose your temper. The moment you feel hunger, you eat without thought. The moment you feel a spark of desire, you abandon your principles. Tell me, if your mood is dictated by the traffic, by the weather, by the rude comment of a stranger, who is really in charge? You or the world around you? The Stoics knew a terrifying truth. A man who cannot control himself serves as many masters as he has passions. You might not have a king telling you what to do, but you have a tyrant living inside your skull. His name is impulse. Think of the last time you said you would start a project, but then fear whispered in your ear, and you stopped. Who was the master then? Think of the time you promised to be patient with your family, but anger flared up like a wildfire, burning everything down in seconds. Who was the master then? You are arranging your life to avoid discomfort, bowing down to fear, seeking cheap pleasure. You are a slave to dopamine, a slave to validation, a slave to the chemical storms in your own brain. We mistake reaction for action. We think that exploding in rage shows strength. We think that chasing every desire shows passion. But the Stoics teach us that these are signs of weakness. To be unable to resist an impulse is the definition of fragility. Imagine a fortress with the gates wide open. Anyone can walk in. An enemy soldier, a wild animal, a thief. That is your mind right now. You have no walls. Every emotion that passes by enters your mind, destroys your furniture, steals your peace, and leaves you cleaning up the mess. You are not living, you are merely reacting. You are a leaf blown by the wind, claiming to be flying, when in reality, you are just falling. True power is not power over others. History is filled with conquerors who owned the world but were slaves to their own vices. Alexander the Great conquered the known map, but could not conquer his own temper. No. True power, true empire, begins inside. It is the ability to feel the anger rising and say, no. It is the ability to feel the fear gripping your throat and step forward anyway. To be free is not to do whatever you want. To be free is to do what you must, regardless of how you feel. Before we can speak of discipline, you must admit the harsh reality. The rebellion must start now. Because right now, the enemy is not at the gates. The enemy is sitting on your throne. Let us speak of the man who wrote the playbook on freedom. Marcus Aurelius. You see him as a statue in a museum, a dusty figure from history. But understand who he really was. He was not a monk living in a cave. He was the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth. Understand the temptation of that position. He could snap his fingers and have anyone killed. He could have any woman or man he desired. He could eat until he vomited and drink until he passed out, every single day, and no one would dare to stop him. He had absolute license to be a monster. He had the power to be lazy. Yet, look at how he lived. He spent his nights in cold military tents on the German frontier, fighting wars to protect his people. He spent his mornings waking up before the sun, fighting the urge to stay under the warm blankets. He wrote to himself, "At dawn, When you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being. Think about the arrogance of your own excuses. You say you are too tired to work out? Marcus was dying of a plague and leading an army. You say you are too stressed to control your temper. Marcus was surrounded by traitors, a crumbling empire, and a son who was a disappointment, yet he never lost his composure. He did not suppress his emotions because he was a robot. He mastered them because he was a king. He understood that feelings are good servants, but terrible masters. If the man who owned the world could deny himself the pleasures of the flesh to serve a higher purpose, what makes you think you deserve a day off? What makes you think you are entitled to comfort? Discipline is not a punishment. For Marcus, discipline was the only way to keep his sanity in an insane world. It was the structure that held his soul together. And right now, your soul is leaking because you have built no structure. You are waiting for motivation to strike you like lightning. But Marcus did not wait for lightning. He lit his own fire every single morning, in the cold and the dark. How do you build this? How do you stand amidst the chaos of a crumbling empire or a crumbling life without losing your mind? Marcus Aurelius had a secret weapon, a concept that the Stoics perfected. He called it the inner citadel. Imagine your mind as a fortress on a high cliff. Below, there's a dark ocean. The waves are the opinions of others. The storms are the disasters of fortune. The wind is the noise of the world. They crash against the rocks. They scream. They threaten to swallow everything. But inside the fortress, there is silence. You are suffering right now because you have let the ocean inside. You have no walls. Someone insults you, and you let the insult walk right into your throne room and sit down. You lose money, and you let the fear of poverty sleep in your bed. Marcus wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Do you understand the power of this? The event is neutral. The event is just atoms clashing with atoms. The pain comes from your judgment. The pain comes from your story. You must learn to separate the event from your reaction. The glass breaks. That is the event. You getting angry because you love that glass? That is the judgment. The traffic is slow. That is the event. You raging because this shouldn't happen to me? That is the weakness. Build the walls, stone by stone. When an impulse strikes, stop. Look at it. Name it. Say, you are just a feeling. You are not me. Withdraw into the citadel. Let the world scream outside. Inside, you remain the king, unmoved, untouched. So, we arrive at the final truth, the one most people are too cowardly to face. To build the citadel, you must be willing to destroy the old version of yourself. You say you want discipline. Then you must understand that discipline is not just about what you do. It is about what you refuse to do. It is the art of the violent no. You must look at the distraction that calls your name and say, no, you have no power here. You must look at the comfort of your bed when the alarm rings and say, no, I do not sleep when there is life to be lived. This is painful. I will not lie to you. Killing your own weakness hurts. Denying your impulses feels like dying, but listen closely. You are dying anyway. Every second that ticks by is a piece of your life that falls into the abyss, never to return. The question is not, will I suffer? The question is, what will I suffer for? Will you suffer the pain of discipline, which weighs ounces? Or will you suffer the pain of regret, which weighs tons? Marcus Aurelius wrote these notes to himself not because he was perfect, but because he was struggling, just like you. He fell. He got tired. He got angry. But every morning he stood up and put the armor back on. Stop waiting for the perfect condition. It will never come. Stop waiting for the feeling of motivation. It is a lie. The throne of your mind is empty. The usurper, impulse, is weak. He only rules because you let him. Stand up. Dust yourself off. Take back the command. Not tomorrow. Not in an hour. Now. The sun is rising, and you have work to do, as a human being.